So, one of the reasons that I've lived the life that I have, I think, we talk about all those different experiences and what happens. Um, and I know that there are reasons that I have maybe been more aware of things, at least in my own mind, of what's been going on around me and appreciated it more. And that's because of um, my awareness of death on a couple of occasions, and I think it's given me a perspective and an appreciation for life, which is what that should do, right? So you don't take things for granted, maybe as much as you were. And there's four big times that I can remember that really kind of, I think, changed the course of my life and how I went about things. One is in England, which I'll tell you about in a second, and then there's two in Afghanistan, and then mom passing, my mom, just in January. Now, there may be things I'm not even aware of that have happened, which maybe were a lot closer than I knew. Um, there's being at bases that are being mortared. So that's one of those things. Like, yeah, you can't pick where that shell's going to hit. So I guess that's a brush, but it didn't feel close to me. It didn't feel, like when they go off, they just go off, and you didn't die, right, or get hurt. Um, so that they don't, I guess they didn't carry as much impact to me because they weren't up close and personal. And there's one time that I thought about recently of Ski, my buddy. This was in Amsterdam too, but if you looked at the previous video, but of him pulling me out of the street before a tram, went by, and how close that was because I was walking, not paying much attention, maybe a little hungover, and I remember him grabbing me and pulling me back, and then the tram went by. So I don't know how close that actually was because I didn't see the tram until it was actually passing me, but it was probably closer than it needed to be. So thanks, Ski. Appreciate you letting me, move on with my life, and I get you a beer next time around. Um, but this first one I want to talk about was in England, and there were four of us. It was a rainy night. This is 93, maybe, so I was 22, I think 23. Um, and I remember it was me and three friends, and we were hanging out at this guy's house, and we had to get another guy, one of the four of us, to a basketball game on base. I was stationed at RAF Chicksands in England, outside of Bedford, and we had to get him to a basketball game, an intramural basketball game. Wet, rainy night, and we got in the car. Me and this other guy got in the back seat of the car, and I had never worn a seatbelt in the back of the car before. And as we're driving, wet road, um, not the greatest conditions. I mean, they're dark, roads in England. Um, I remember saying, I'm going to put my seatbelt on. And the guy next to me, he put his on too. And it was just a feeling I should, like, and instincts are important. And the older you get, the more you realize how important they are and how much they can guide you through life. And they should be listened to, those whispers. I felt like I should, and I did. And that's the reason I'm here in the condition I'm in. I'm not saying I would have passed, but um, things could have got real bad. So we're driving along, and there's a car in front of us, going kind of slow, and then we go to pass them, you know, um, and they speed up. I don't think they wanted us to pass them, so they speed up. So now it's harder for us to pass. So we try to go a little bit faster to get ahead of them, and they match our speed. And I don't know why. Like, I'm not attributing anything. I don't know if they're playing around or what. But then we see headlights coming the other direction, and those headlights coming the other direction, we're like, well, this is not going to end well for us because we're in the passing lane. So we go to slow down, and at the same time, the car next to us slows down as well because I think they were trying to give us room to pass. But now we're trying to slow down. We don't want to pass. And so that car is still coming at us, um, and everything goes to shit. And There's brakes, there's lights, there's everything going on, and we go head to head with this car that was coming the other direction. So it was just the worst alignment of planets at that possible time that could have happened. We go head to head. I guarantee things would have been much different if I hadn't been wearing a seatbelt. All four of us were. Um, so that's the lesson in that part is listen. Listen to the voices. They're smart. And we look around. Everybody seems to be okay. Get out of the car. I go over to the other car that we hit. And I remember looking in, and there's a gentleman there, and he is leaned over the wheel, and he is breathing but bleeding, in bad shape. There's some food wrappers. He probably was just grabbing a snack, and trying to eat something on the way home. And he's, got that stuff down there, and I'm, trying to take off my jacket to put around him, and we're waiting for police to get there, and, paramedics. And I don't know what to do for the guy, I'm looking for, wounds to heal up, but I think a lot of it was internal. And he wound up passing, and he had a wife and, a kid, and all he was doing was going home, that night, and then he was dead. And I think not to learn from that would truly make that guy's life, not a waste, but it wouldn't give him the proper respect of that moment that it was deserved. So, he's gone. His wife and his child have to deal with that, which I can't even imagine. And, if you don't learn from that and appreciate your life and appreciate the people around you a little bit more, and understand how fragile this existence is on any given day, I think you're doing a disservice. I think it's a shame. So I did a lot of thinking after that night and figuring stuff out, and it did change the way that I felt about things and what I saw and what I noticed and how I dealt with people and what I would hold on to and anger and frustration and all these things and if it was worth it. So and I just happened to be the lucky one who was on this side of that instead of my existence being ended. So yeah, it was a big part of me moving forward and evolving, I think, in who I am and what I'm about. So just appreciate your life and appreciate every single day. I hope you never have to run into an event like that in order to do it. And that's kind of what, these videos are for, right? So be in the moment and appreciate the moment and appreciate people around you and appreciate the good things and try to fix the bad things, all that stuff, because it can be gone today. And I don't mean to be morbid. I don't mean to be down and dark, but it's just real, so appreciate what you got. Okay. I love you.